Hey everyone, and welcome back to episode 39 of Divine FM. I am so glad, so happy, so ecstatic to be here. It's been a little bit, and you know, I'm feeling good. I'm really happy to be recording, and I feel really inspired because life sure does throw you curveballs, right? And from having so many different, high and low experiences recently, it's really taught me to, of course, let go, but also, letting myself fall. And I think that has a lot of different interpretation, but my favorite is falling into place because falling is, scary and it's unknown and it's unexpected, and there's just all of these anxiety induced feelings that have to do with, letting go and letting yourself fall. And I think that the best way for me to be able to describe the way that I've been trying to, sit with my own emotions and work through my own emotions is trying to frame it in the way that I'm, letting it fall into place naturally, not trying to control what's going on and, just trying to be more at peace with the natural flow of things because I truly believe that everything does, work in divine timing, and regardless if it's a positive interaction, negative interaction, or just anything that has to do with what happens to you, it's all very divine. And I tend to, at least I had the tendency to be quite controlling when it came to my life and really trying to steer it into a certain direction regardless of which way I was steering. Like, there's lots of different directions I've been wanting to go to, but I now see that if we're still going with that analogy, like the ocean is so vast and I have so many years, ahead of me. I have so much time to learn. I have so much time to grow, and I genuinely want to be able to let myself sit here and, bask in it and everything that's going on, and really feeling that just all of the feelings, the pride, the shame, the overwhelm, the overjoyment, the bliss, the giddiness. There's like a whole array of emotions that have to do with being in this theoretical overflow, but it's a place that I've dreamed of being, and I keep writing in my journal lately. It feels as though I'm dreaming with my eyes open, and it really just is up to the eyes of the beholder. If you want to view what's happening to you in your life and your circumstances as, an obstacle that's impossible to overcome, or, something to learn and grow from and become better for it, for having that lesson learned. And as exhausting as it can be sometimes, I'm always open to the latter approach and, just letting myself feel through everything, regardless of what's going on, and being friends. And it doesn't have to be friends. You can just, be acquaintances, and just being more sweet to yourself whenever you're sitting in those really hard, tough emotions, and being able to develop a sense of trust with yourself, genuinely, when it comes to how you feel, about yourself on the inside, and being able to comfort yourself and not self-sabotage, and genuinely be more in touch with you and your soul and your heart. And I feel as though that's been really, really important for me to focus on when it comes to staying balanced and not losing myself to one thing or the other, whatever's trying to tug at my energy the most. And I feel really, really thankful too to have such a supportive community, like a tribe of friends and family who genuinely are there for me, and I feel very supported and very loved and really lucky to have curated this life for myself. And I'm very excited to see, what's in store for me and where it's going to take me. And all of these things are, here also because I have allowed myself to sit with all the heavy burdens, the heavy obstacles, the heavy just emotions in general that have allowed me to become a more strong and resilient person in order to, reach these goals that I'm setting for myself and feel that sense of accomplishment and genuinely be able to, begin digging out that future for myself that I'm really envisioning. Like I love entrepreneurship, and I love that I'm really like learning a lot at my job too, and learning a lot about sales, and also obviously the trade that I'm working into. And it feels very fulfilling to be able to focus on something that feels bigger than myself and feel accomplished in the fact that I'm able to understand it. And maybe not fully at first, it takes a lot of like learning and patience and trust that I'm doing things right. But I truly am enjoying the process of everything, and letting myself fall because I trust that it's all going to fall into place. And I sometimes struggle to feel this, the comforting emotion of trust within yourself that it's going to fall into place. But it's a practice. It's not a practice, it's a muscle that you have to practice working at, remembering these emotions and are temporary, remembering that you can control, not fully control, I guess, but I just hate using that word now, but like you can, like control like how much you let yourself, think about a certain thing. And if you do allow yourself to sit with uncomfortable emotions and uncomfortable just obstacles and things that occur in life that you don't really know what to do about it, just not doing anything, just sitting with it and literally letting life take its course, and just accepting that my intentions have always been pure, and as long as I can have that sense of trust within myself, and like that knowing that my actions and my words and my energy have been aligned with who I am and who I believe I am. And that does give me great comfort that I don't have to overthink so much. I can just trust that everything is going to be okay, Like last night was a bit of a hard night for me, like just having that comfort of, trust. Everything felt very unknown and scary and just heavy. And I had to, basically rock myself to sleep and, tell myself verbally, like, everything is going to be okay. Like, it's all going to be okay. Like, I just need to rest. I just need some time. And we just need to sit with it and be nice to myself and like babying myself, like genuinely telling myself like it's so okay, like you're gonna be okay, like giving myself cuddles and hugs and everything that you want whenever you're feeling really low, like feeling vulnerable enough within yourself too, to let yourself receive that from yourself. It is a little weird, I guess. Is it? I don't know. I mean, it feels very fulfilling to be able to give myself this sense of love and gratitude and respect, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be able to balance the heaviness of what I've taken on. And I know that with great what's the word, what's the saying, with great risk comes great reward, or maybe that's not exactly what I'm thinking of though. It's more just like I've put in so much energy and work and love and freaking yawn. Hold up. Ugh. Sorry. Anyway, what was I saying? I've put in so much time and love and energy into all of my endeavors, and I feel as though it's only right that I give myself that trust and respect and love that what I've done is enough, and I'm enough, and I can rest easy knowing that everything I've done is, up to par. If not, it surpasses. I'm a very proud woman for being so strong and resilient regardless of, what happens to me, because I do feel a lot of confidence in the fact that I am very emotionally aware, and I try to be as aware as I can, like there's obviously things I'll always be learning. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm so emotionally intelligent, I know everything, and everything I do is right, because that's literally couldn't be further from the truth. Like I make mistakes every day, and I learn from them, at least I try to, and it's always, an embarrassing feat to make mistakes and to sit with, shame and regret and just sadness and feelings of discontent. Like the list goes on of things that are like uncomfortable to feel, but you have to remember that those are just emotions. Like they don't have to be yours. Like you don't have to take them on. You can just feel them and decide where are they stemming from. Where is my brain trying to direct these emotions, and do I agree with that? And you're allowed to say no and let it go. And that has been a really hard but like very exciting, I guess, process for myself to go through, because it's allowing me to feel a lot less shame and heavy feelings, and just being able to forgive myself quicker, and just be more understanding and gentle with myself. And I feel as though that energy like rubs off on all of my other relationships, because I am also trying to be more understanding with others. And if you can do it with yourself, you most definitely can do it with others. Typically, like, it's the other way around. Like, we give too much. Like, I used to be an overgiver, and sometimes I still feel as though I am, but it's only because I have to pick and choose who I give, like, my energy to, And with that, I'm gonna do a little segue, because I really wanted to read a excerpt from this book. It's called Nuggets of Divinity by she's a YouTuber actually. Her name's Jhadina. It's Jhadina. I have been watching her for over a year now, and she basically posts like intuitive content. Like, just, it's not like a podcast, it's literally just her like talking. And she just, talks about like what's going on in the energy in the collective. And I think sometimes, like rarely, like once in a blue moon, she'll read a tarot card or do a little reading within it, but it's genuinely like just her picking up on collective energy. And like I've always, at least for the past year, resonated with her videos. And so anytime like one comes up, if I'm feeling it, sometimes I don't feel it, and I'll have to, just wait and see, like whenever it's intuitive, like if it comes up and I feel like I want to watch that video and consume that energy, or like let that consume it. I'm dead. I'm dead. I guess consume is not like the worst word to use, but let that energy into my field. I have always resonated. And so, long story short, this book is by her. It's called Nuggets of Divinity, and it's also just intuitive, messages, little paragraphs. And I have these 2 sticky notes in it that are pink, and I don't know exactly what I sticky noted, but I know that I mental noted that I wanted to read this book along with Outliers. At least this like little chunk, very little chunk of Outliers, because it just like was talking about this one specific thing I was talking about earlier. But first, I'm gonna read nuggets of divinity. Now I'm going to open up the sticky note. Oh, cute. Okay. Page 55. This one's called To Be as Free as Mother Earth. The clouds don't brace themselves for the inevitable and unpredictable storms that are incoming. They simply float, moment by moment. The trees don't brace themselves for the windstorms. They simply breathe. Grass effortlessly flows with no resistance. Nature is effortless. It is not preparing for what's to come. It is simply existing in its vibrant consciousness. Plants don't strain to grow. The sun doesn't fight its way up to rise in the sky. And water doesn't brace for the painful crash of its own waves. There's no strain, no resistance, and no effort. We can all learn from nature, to bend with the natural ebbs and flows of life, to allow the universe to gracefully carry us where we are meant to be. We must allow what leaves to leave and nurture what decides to stay. We must embrace change and the unpredictable serendipity that is our very existence. So, my love, remember to float with the clouds and dance under the moonlight. Hug as many trees as you possibly can, for their wisdom is unmatched. Follow that inner voice, the soft whisper calling you closer and closer to your heart's deepest desires. Love hard and forgive even harder, because true, genuine forgiveness is the cure for your soul. Allow people the grace and the space to be exactly who they are, even if who they choose to be is not in alignment with who you see them as. Choose to send them love and healing from afar, and protect your own energy above all else. Say good night to the stars and good morning to the sun each and every day. Thank the flowers for their beauty and radiance that they bring to the world. Notice the uniqueness in everything around you and in everyone around you, too. Don't compare yourself to anyone, because no soul could ever be replicated. How could anyone be as unique as you? Laugh as much as you can, because laughter is an ancestral medicine. Be silly and goofy always. Embrace and honor the inner child within you who is simply craving to be loved and seen by you. Talk to them every day. Be the person they always needed. Love yourself first and foremost, and love yourself deeper than you love any other being. That abundance of love will naturally flow into the lives of others around you. Never ever doubt yourself, and never allow pain to make you jaded to who you truly are. Don't allow past hurt to turn you cold. Be tender and soft and promise never to callous. Remember to stop and smell the roses, literally and metaphorically. Be as present as one can be, and remember that there was once a version of you who prayed to be where you are now. Lean on your angels as they will guide you through the darkest of storms and into the light of a new day. Be who you truly are and not who you think people want you to be. Your authenticity is your superpower. Take care of your body, your temple, for it is the vessel of your divine soul, in this lifetime at least. Never stop learning. Knowledge is power, and transmuting that knowledge into wisdom is the key to unlocking every door inside and outside of you. Success is inevitable when you are in alignment with who you are, deep at your core. Don't strive for materialistic things. Strive to be the best version of you that you could ever be. Question everything, and I mean everything. The ability to contemplate concepts, to foster constant curiosity, to question without immediately accepting ideas as truth or fighting them, is an incredible skill to develop. Remain curious, for curiosity will bring magic into your life. Know that you are what you believe, so allow yourself to believe in miracles, because magic is quite literally all around you. Know that excitement is often disguised as fear or anxiety. Develop the discernment to know the difference between the two. Don't allow the fear of other people's perception of you to inhibit you from pursuing the life you desire to live. Remember that people can only meet you as far as they have met themselves. Never force anyone to meet you where you are. Instead, surround yourself with those who are willing to embrace your divinity. Sit in the stillness of your mind and do not try to run from it. Although silence is often uncomfortable, embrace the discomfort. Do not, and I repeat, do not confuse boredom with peace. Open your heart and love recklessly, not in a way that is ignorant to those who don't have the best intentions towards you, but rather in a way that allows you to pour your entire being into the love of another, as long as that love is always reciprocated. For with love, there is always risk, but you'll never get to experience the magic that love brings if you only offer up a portion of your being and keep the rest hidden in hopes of protecting it from inevitable pain. So, love fully. Do not block your own blessings, even if the thought of opening up to receive scares the hell out of you. Remember that often things have to fall apart in order for them to come together. If you feel like everything is crumbling down in your life right now, know that sometimes things must be broken in order to be built back even stronger. A friend once said to me that as a kid, they enjoyed building the fort more than sitting in it once it was completed. Remember that the journey is the dream. Shift your focus from only allowing yourself to experience happiness when you reach a certain milestone. Instead, remind yourself that the goal is the process itself. The process is the prize, and your presence in it is of grave importance. And above all else, ground yourself in each moment by expressing deep love and gratitude for where you are right now, because I promise, there is a version of you that prayed to be where you are in some way. Honor that. I have chills. That was very spot on with what I was talking about. I'm gonna say that I'm so grateful to be here right now. I'm so grateful to have a job. I'm so grateful to have a car. I'm so grateful to have a roof over my head and a comfy and safe space to call home. I'm grateful for my family, and I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for me and for the I guess purpose that I was given, or I don't know. I hate using that word because I know a lot of people don't believe in that. I don't even know if I do. I can't even lie. I do feel as though people have purposes. At least for me, like, I deeply, deeply feel like I, was meant to be. I'm so sensitive. Like, my purpose here has to be in some way or another to connect with people in a very deep way and to have these very vulnerable experiences and to be able to, create a new wave of acceptance and understanding of sensitivity and how important it is to let yourself be vulnerable and being gentle and being soft. And people don't realize that is the strongest thing you can do, is to be soft, is to let go, is to genuinely be there for you, like treating yourself like you're the little version of you, little toddler kid, baby version of you. I feel like that is the strongest thing you can ever do. If you truly care about yourself and love yourself and respect yourself, like, you wouldn't punish yourself, for things that are out of your control, or for making mistakes, or, just being a human being and living the human experience. Life is a much more fulfilling and enjoyable experience whenever you just let yourself live, and trust that things are going to fall into place. All right. That being said, I'm going to open the next page. It says, page 77, Heavy Embrace. At one point in time, these feelings felt like sadness, an impending, inescapable doom. Not this time. I feel the weight and heaviness of the world while simultaneously feeling comforted by it. I no longer fear these feelings or wish to avoid them. Instead, I have given myself permission to bask in this somber peace and stillness. That's like actually crazy. Yeah, that's literally what I said earlier. Ooh, wow, okay. Rather than run from it, I've allowed myself to fall straight into it. I allow myself to be caught and supported by this weight as I surrender and fall. I'm going to reread that. I allow myself to be caught and supported by this weight as I surrender and trust fall into her. I bask in the melancholy. A melancholy without the sadness is the best way to describe this feeling. Lethargic and desolate. I find peace and comfort in the solitude and the loneliness that is me. The weight of my heart leaves me feeling alive. I find solace here with my heart. I find it intriguing how weight can provide comfort. Through the form of a tight hug or being held, it almost seems contradictory or juxtaposing to me. That is probably the exact reason why I love it so deeply. I love when I can see the polarities within things, or when two opposing things come together in unity. Darkness and light, masculine and feminine. I think that there is great power. I think that there is great power in two opposing positions joining forces in unity. From two opposite ends of the spectrum. It truly tickles my brain in the best way possible. This next one is called Home. Her soul was born to write. Words flow through her as effortlessly as the blood coursing through her veins. Her heart was heavy as it sank into the depths of her being. A soul is what she was, an iridescent light floating off into the aether. As she floated away, she left the dense, cold earth behind, a journey to return home. But what was home to her? Or where was home? Home feels like the color blue. The feeling of being comfortably carried away by a peaceful wave out at sea under the light of a full moon. As this wave carries me, I am filled with peace. I feel safe in the arms of the ocean. Home feels like water, like gently drowning into the depths of my light. Home feels like solitude, nothing but me consumed by myself, my own love, and my own mind. I find peace in my loneliness, alone with the divine as I fly off into the clouds. Home feels like being carried by a cloud, like the relief of releasing all of my tension as the weightless fluff cradles my body. Home feels like being kissed by the last moments before the sun descends into hibernation, as the warm touches of amber graze against my golden skin. Home feels like a deep breath on top of a mountain, staring off into the distance of nearby streams and families of trees. Home feels like falling in love with myself for the first time, adoring my body, my mind, my temple, and my heart. Home feels like me. I am the only home that I will ever need. Okay, one more. This one is called Stardust Creations. Page 81. I love being a woman, a powerful creator in this game of life. Between my legs is quite literally a portal into other realms and dimensions. To be a woman means to be fully tapped into my sexual energy. Power oozes out of my very pores. My skin smells of vanilla and is smooth like butter. To be a woman means to recognize the power in my seduction, to be worshipped from head to toe as the goddess that I am. To be a woman feels powerful and gentle all at once. It is the knowing that I have the strength to move mountains, to make waves, that I can do any and all things by my own will, while simultaneously basking in the dainty, fragile energy that is me. To be a woman means to be soft and tender, to handle with care. Women are precious gemstones deserving of the most intentional care and attention. To be a woman means to bask in soft garments and then cascade around each curve and crevice of my body. Seduce yourself. To be a woman means to wear moonlight as lingerie and to dance naked under the stars. Magnetism. An effortless type of magnetism. An inescapable pull towards the yoni, the center of all creation. To seduce by simply glancing into someone's eyes. What some call vanity, I call divinity. Physically, emotionally, undeniably dangerous. Okay, girl. I see you. I love Jhadina. I love her brain. I feel so connected to her. Like it feels like that's something that I would literally write. Her brain is so similar to mine, and I really, really resonate with her energy. And I love the things she has to say. It makes me feel so inspired and so much more willing, to trust. Because if I can literally resonate with a complete stranger in such a deep way, when I can't resonate with other people in my real life, like basically like very little people, like it is very special to me to be able to consume, content. Like especially since she came out with her book, I was so happy to get this because I love her messages, and they're always very unexpected too, because I open them, just as I feel guided to, and that's another thing, that I have accepted in this process of letting go is, whenever I'm not in control of everything, it feels much more divine. It feels much more right. And that's my favorite part about it, because it's effortless, it's easy, it's divine, it's, everything in life that's meant for you shouldn't be forced. It should just happen naturally, and yes, you have to like work towards things, blah blah blah, but like big picture, like you wouldn't be working towards these things unless you felt called to do it, and so like following those certain nudges, and also really really paying attention to yourself and your body and how you're making other people feel, and letting yourself trust the process and enjoy the process, because that is the best part about living, is being able to enjoy the journey of discovering and rediscovering who we are and what we want and everything under the sun. Life is a very mysterious and exciting and inviting experience, and it has its ebbs and flows, its ups and downs, but like everything will fall into place, and it will be heavy. Like that's no escaping that. But also being able to not be so fearful of those heavy moments is something that I feel as though is a really important tool to have, in your mental health like tool belt. It's very helpful. Let me tell you that. I also wanted to read this one little excerpt from Outliers. If I can freaking find it. I don't know if I marked it now that I'm like looking at the book. No, I did. This is Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. I'm pretty sure like lots of people know what this book is about. It's literally Outliers, the story of success. This is page 150. So basically I'll just like summarize this little paragraph. So basically they're talking about this guy, the concept of like whenever you're working towards a goal and you're working towards something that's has a lot of hard work involved, and there's lots of steps, and you're not just gonna get the satisfaction like immediately or even close to. Having the ability to enjoy the process and love what you do makes what you're doing way more tolerable, and not just tolerable, like it makes it an experience of its own. And that is like a miracle, when it comes to this day and age, when it's really hard to find a job that can pay you like what you need, but can also fulfill you. It's quite hard to find that. So if you do have that, don't let go of that, He hadn't sold anything yet. Okay, also, oh my god, I didn't even tell you. So it's also about this guy who's like trying to be an entrepreneur. And he's really struggling to, for his business to take off. But he's really happy doing it because, he has confidence and faith in himself. Anywho, he hadn't sold anything yet. He was still penniless and desperate, and he knew that to make something of his idea was going to require years of backbreaking labor. But he was ecstatic, because the prospect of those endless years of hard labor did not seem like a burden to him. Bill Gates had that same feeling when he first sat down at the keyboard at Lakeside. And the Beatles didn't recoil in horror when they were told that they had to play 8 hours a night, 7 days a week. They jumped at the chance. Hard work is a prison sentence only if it does not have meaning. Once it does, it becomes the kind of thing that makes you grab your wife around the waist and dance a jig. The most important consequence of the miracle of the garment industry, though, was what happened to the children growing up in those homes where meaningful work was practiced. They learned the same lesson. Blah, blah, blah. I guess I'll read this. They learned the same lesson that little Alex Williams would learn nearly a century later. A lesson crucial to those who wanted to tackle the upper reaches of a profession like law or medicine. If you work hard enough and assert yourself, and use your mind and imagination, you can shape the world to your desires. I truly do believe that. Like, I have so much faith, like, in optimism, that, like, it worries me. But it, I say that, like, jokingly, but, like, it is true. Like, I genuinely am very optimistic, and I have fallen so in love with the process, and I feel happy to be alive right now, and I'm really glad that I'm at this point where I'm really able to just sit with all of this scariness and the sadness and the shame and the heaviness, and not actually feel it like old me used to, and actually be able to, give myself hugs and kisses and genuinely, like, forgive myself, and it's very nice and comforting to be able to do that for myself, and, also hold myself accountable, of course, but still, like, not hating myself for, being human and making mistakes and, doing things that felt like were out of my control, or, it wasn't exactly what, like, my brain wanted to, and I in an ideal world, but, patience is virtue, and I truly think that with time and patience and, love and care and intention, like, anything can, miracles are so real, and I genuinely believe in the power of the universe, and I think that with good intentions comes great reward. So, anywho, this was letting go and falling into place. I really hope you guys like this episode. Sorry, I, like, rambled, like, quite a lot after I was reading those excerpts, but I genuinely just love to include a little bit of literature. I say literature, and I guess, yeah, it is, because it just, adds a little bit to the conversation, and it's really nice to be able to connect those dots, and especially with Jhadina's book, like, that's really funny that the 2 excerpts that I had put a sticky note on, it's like a little tab thing. I just had opened up a page at work, and then I put the little page tab thing on it a couple days ago, because whenever life is feeling heavy, I try not to consume as much content, especially, like, when it comes to, like, intuitive or, like, spiritual content. I try to really, like, sit with my own emotions and not, like, get any sort of outside, like, perspective. I really want, that's, like, how I'm learning to trust myself more, and of course, like, tarot does help, but sometimes it feels a bit much. It feels like I'm overstepping, with my own boundary, because if I don't understand my own emotion, how am I going to be able to understand what the cards are telling me, because I'm not seeing with, like, a full clear head, clear mind, clear heart, if that makes sense. So anyways, I really hope you guys are doing well. I know that all the energy in the air, I believe it was just a new moon, and we're entering Scorpio season, or we already did enter Scorpio season, So, there's a lot of like good things for us to look forward to. Like, energy is high, energy is awesome, possum. Literally so sweet. It's gonna be crisp, fall-y fucking weather. Like, guys, we're on the come up. Like, we're on the come up. Literally. Like, no, literally. And there's so much to be excited about. So, no stress, no harm, no foul. Let yourself fall, guys, because everything will fall into place. Trust me. Thank you, and I love you so much, and I'll see you so soon. Bye!